we have done the discussions for our first questions last week, which is we cover a lot on the blind spot. And today we are going to discuss on the second questions, which is what gives a leader sustainability. The sustainability of a leader is very important to keep the company at the peak in their performance and to make sure that everyone who are on the same path are aligned with one another. And the leader have to be able to lead themselves first before they need anyone else. So there are four ways in helping the leaders to keep them energized and stay on course by simply tapping into these four areas. So what are the four areas here? So the
Okay.
first, yeah,
Can I just interrupt for a minute to just okay?
can.
Now let me rephrase the question. What gives a leader sustainability? Okay, why is this question very important? Let me say this. Life, whatever endeavor we make, it is not the good idea that we have. It's not we are able to start. It is good. It is important. But it's not the most important. It is important that we have ideas. It is important that we start acting on the idea, and it is important. But it is more important
Persistency.
that we last, that we are able to finish the race, that we are able to reach the end. That's why this is what this question means. What gives a leader sustainability? That means what is able to keep the leader going until they finish and create the significance. Okay, that's why many of you now can see. For many of you, you have already show your level of sustainability in YMAT. Your persistence in staying with YMAT. It's easy at the beginning because everything is exciting. But it's never easy after a while. Okay? When the excitement, the early excitement is gone, when the freshness, when everything is new, it's always exciting one, no. After a while, there's no newness. That means there's no new excitement. That's why this one is very crucial. Because otherwise, you can drop off. And whenever you drop off, whatever you begin with will gradually disintegrate. Eventually, all the effort you put in the beginning, if you don't continue it, whatever effort in the beginning also disintegrate and disappear. Usually it does. It leaves you very little at the end, very little benefit at the end. Okay? So sustainability is to make sure the benefit lasts till the end, to create significant transformation in our life, to create significant long-term impact and change. That's why this question is very crucial to ask one as a leader. Okay? First question is about making sure that we are effective. That's why all the blind spot, talking about blind spot. Make sure that we maximize our effectiveness. Second question is make sure we maximize our effectiveness by making sure we last. Okay? That's why this question. So the four answers that John C. Maxwell provide as we go through, ask yourself, am I having it? Can I keep having it? Not only do I have it, but how do I keep having these things? Okay, Xu Wei?
Yeah, okay. So there are four areas to help you to sustain in your leaderships. So they are passions, principles, practices, and people. So what are the passions? In order to help the leader in keeping their fire burn within them, it is very crucial for them to tap into the area of passions. It is because passion is something that you love doing. It is something that you would sacrifice your sleep for something that really excites you and inspire you to get there. So by tapping into this area, it actually helps you to build two vital leaderships characteristics. They are energy and credibility. So the second area is principle. Principle, basically, it covers your belief, your gift, and your personality. I believe there are a lot of principles in leaderships, but this author is only mentions one key thing, which is to be able to lead in a way that is most resonate you. It includes a lot of self-discovery in this area. So, as a leader, you have to be constantly ask yourself whether this is a leadership style that you find it very comfortable to you, or does it reflect to who you are. It is basically to ask you to stay true to yourself. And the third areas that you have to look into is the practices. Practices is discipline. We as humans, we often go back to the fundamental. Sorry. So for these practices is about discipline. So if you want to have a sustainability in your leaderships, this leadership discipline is something that you cannot be avoid. So it includes daily practices. It is about hard work and it's about sacrifice your time for something that will bring tremendous improvements on your work. So it is good for all of us to cut up with at least one practice that would really bring you closer to your destinations. If you really found one, so let's be at your very best and make every day a masterpiece to you. And the last area is the people. People, because we as humans, we always go back to the fundamental no matter how far we have gone through. We are the humans that designed to constantly seek for approval, and we are tend to seek for support, and we also seek for love and attentions. So with all these elements, it actually creates a drive for us to do better and to go farther. If you want to sustain in your leaderships, you may look for these four types of people in your teams. So there are four category people in this area. They are believer, achiever, conceiver, and reliever. So who are these believer? Believer is the people who are believing you, and they are believe in your visions as well, no matter how bad you may seem in others' eye. And the second one, achiever. Achiever is the people who strive together with you. They bring up the best in them in achieving companies' missions. And what about conceiver? Conceiver is the people who are usually very creative and innovative. They are really good at bringing new ideas to the table. And the last one is a reliever. So for this reliever, they are good at discover your strength, and they consistently give you compliments and praise you. So so this is all about the second questions, how to sustain in the leaderships. So
Okay.
Edmund.
I'd like to add something about the principles. Very important. Now, of course, it's not in the short passage given by written in the book lah. But make sure your belief is sound. This is what I want to stress. Belief is personal, right? And yet, no. Can you imagine if everybody have their own beliefs? Belief is never personal. Beliefs must always be based on universal principle. Can you imagine what the world will become if everybody claim, I have my personal belief? You have your personal belief, I have my personal belief. And beliefs is what drives a person to live, drive the person's decision. Right? Everybody, your personal belief drives your life. My personal belief drives my life. But can you imagine if all 13 of us here, or 12 of us here, each one of us have our own personal belief? We could probably have 12 different personal beliefs. And when we have 12 different personal beliefs, we don't have a unity, you know. Then how do we have unity? The only way we have unity is if personal belief is based on universal principle, because there's only one universal principle. That's why beliefs should never be as I wish. Never. It is, if personal belief is based on universal belief, then I can learn from you in order to strengthen my belief. Because it is never personal as I wish. It is based on universal. That's why I can share my personal belief on how I base it on universal belief, universal principles, and you also do that. And that's why we can share and we can learn it from each other to enhance our personal belief. And in the process of enhancing our personal belief, to help each other to be more stronger, to make our personal belief based stronger on universal principle, then both of us can align. And both of us can now unite, and unite in vision and mission. That's why this is very crucial. So I want to stress it very clearly that while, yes, we should live our life based on belief, gift, and personality, the gift and the personality can be very different. Okay? But personal belief should drive us to be closer and closer, to be more aligned. Okay? It should not be as we wish. It should always be as it is, based on universal principle. That's why this is very crucial for us to remember. Then, once we start developing our beliefs based on universal principle, then we really need number 3, practice the discipline, the determination and the discipline to comply with those beliefs. Or in other words, to live out according to the universal principle. This one I really want to stress. The world today is in such a mess, is that people claim personal right to believe as they wish without basing it on universal principle. That's why you have things like now endorsing LGBT. No, it's only going to create chaos. It's only going to create more confusion. Okay? Because now relationship is totally confused. It's ridiculous. That's why I really want to stress this, so that you can understand when things are happening around you in the world today. Okay? How do you respond to all those things? How do you respond to other people's personal belief? How do you interact? How do you have a dialogue with them? Okay? It must, again, I want to stress, it must be based on universal principle. Any question? Okay, Shu Wei, back to you.
Okay, so let's move to the question 3. Question 3 is about what are the most important values for a leaders. There are 5 values here. The first is a servanthood. Servanthood is basically about leading well, means serving others. For servant leaders, they always practice new leadership style in their organizations. They they always take the traditional power leaderships into a completely opposite model. They have the self first mindset first, and they are more focused on empowering and uplifting those who work for them. They are serving instead of commanding. They showing more humanity instead of brandishing authority. They're always looking for ways to enhance the developments of their team members, such as to help them to unlock their potential, uh, and also creativity, and to help them to discover the sense of the purpose. And Eugene Habakkuk said this: the true leaders serve people, serve their best interests, and in doing so will not always be popular and may not always impress. But because true leaders are motivated by loving concerns than a desire for personal glory, so they are willing to pay the price. So this is what Eugene shared. And the second purpose is no, the second value is purpose. This is about let your why to direct your what. A leader with purpose is conscious to align their own personal values with their definitions of success, and also achieve a sense of meaning and well-being in attaining their goals. But why is this purpose so important to a leader? It is because with the right purpose, it will help in bringing good impact onto the people that under their leads. Other than that, it will also keep a leader on track and also growing in their maximum potential as well. And the third one is integrity. Integrity is to live the life before you lead others. It is important for leaders to set by an example for their followers to follow. A good leader always do more than what they expect others to do, and they are also more focused on their responsibility than on their rights. So this is the value that all leaders need to possess in order to get respect from the teams. And the next one is relationships. Walk slowly through the crowds. This value is referring to how close the relationships you are with your team. Are you a leader with are you a leader who are really taking the initiative to reach out to your team members, or are you a leader that waiting for them to come to you and when they need your help? To me, a leader should be the one who reach out to their team members to communicate with them on their progress and to help them to find out their strength and also put them into and then also put them onto the right positions where they can actually reach to their maximum potential. And then the last value is a renewer. Replenish your replenish yourself daily. Everyone knows that being a leader is not an easy job at all. They do more than their followers do. And when it comes to leading people, it's even more headache and even more taking off their energy that we could ever imagine. So what are the leader need to do in this case? Uh, which is they have to be intentionally taking a pause after a long work hectic day. So they may renew their energy in different ways as well, as long as it works for them. But to me, I find it reading and journaling with a cup of my favorite tea would help me to regain my energy and put me back on track where I'm supposed to be at. So from here, we would like to hear from you, Mr. Edmonds. You as our leaders, you are our mentor. How are you going to really replenish yourself every single day, especially after you lead all these young people, and then and then it 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 definitely will be taking a lot of your energy, your focus as well, because you need to do a lot of research so that you can share with us more. So can you just please share with us a bit how are you going to really regain back your energy?
Okay, if you want me to share, I have to share all five. I won't just share one. Okay, I will share all five. because it is important for you to recognize what I struggle with in all 5. Okay. For me, the second one is the first thing I learned. Purpose is the first thing I learned. I must have a why. Let your why direct your what. I spent a lot of years doing that, asking why. Why my life? Why? What my life is all about? Okay. In fact, some of you have heard my story before, but many of you who are new haven't. I still remember early. This is now back in 1981. Yeah, back in 1981, correct. Back in 1981, I still remember I was in Australia. I was in my friend's place. My friend invited me for dinner. When I went to the friend's place early, I waited for them to finish cooking. But during that time, I was struggling with my life. And I still remember walking out into the balcony of my friend's apartment. They were cooking in the kitchen, so I was alone. So I walk out to the balcony, and it was on the it's quite a high floor lah. I think something like the 10th floor or 11th floor. I remember looking down from the balcony, and I have this question. It was during the time I was probably going through a bit of a depression, and I asked myself this question: what's stopping me from jumping off the balcony and just end my life? I had no meaning to live. I still remember that means my life had no purpose. There is no meaning. And from that day, I gave myself this chance. I must find out my meaning. Because if I don't, there's no difference from me if I'm alive or dead. So to me, I don't want to live a meaningless life. I don't want to live a life without purpose. Because life without purpose is not worth living to me. I still remember that day. This is back in 1981, which is what 39 years ago. Okay, that is the beginning of my journey of purpose. So from that day on, I pursue in my search for my meaning of life, and that is where the number 1 comes in, servanthood. And I begin to realize after that actually from there my purpose comes in increasing the value in others. That's where servanthood. And I begin to realize that, okay, what I can do, what I had to struggle through to learn in my youth, I can help other youth. Okay. And I begin to realize that, you see, a lot of people would like to increase their personal value. But let me say this, increasing personal value without servanthood has no meaning. Let me explain why. Okay, let me explain why. For some of you, you have heard this story before. For those who have been with me for many years under YMAT, you have heard this story. But for the benefit of those who haven't heard the story, let me tell you another story about servanthood. This story is about this old woman. Okay, this is back in the 1950s. Okay, in the 1950s, and this old lady, very poor lady. Originally, this old lady has only about $10 in his pocket. He doesn't have much money, but she need to earn a living. So what she did is she went to a wholesaler. She go and buy those packet keropok. Okay, prawn cracker. And she buy, during the time it's very cheap, only 50 cents one packet. So she got $10, she go and buy 20 packet. And she take the 20 packet and then she go out to the street and then she go and sell. She sell for 80 cents. So by the end of the day, she worked very hard to sell the 20 packet. At the end of the day, now she has $16. Next day, she took the $16. She go and buy, okay, 32 packet, and she went and sell. She worked hard. Every day she buy the keropok, she sell. Eventually, about 1 month later, she has more than $50 in the pocket. So she decided, oh, I don't want to spend all on selling the keropok. So she took the $50, she put it into a tin can, and then she put it under the bed. She dig a hole under her bed. Now you have to remember this is 1950s. 1950s, they don't stay in the house where cement floor with marble floor. A lot of these houses is kampong houses. They have mud floor only. I still remember my first house back in the 1960s is a mud floor. Okay. And so this old lady go and dig a hole under the bed and bury the tin can with the $50 under her, or in a hole under the bed. Then she continued to work and earn more money. One day, while she was out trying to earn a living, she met an accident. She passed away. The question is very simple. How much is that $50 worth? What is the value of the $50 in the tin can in the hole under the old lady's bed? Is it valuable? That time, $50 is very valuable. $50 can buy a lot of things. By the way, last time, you can rent a room for $20, $30 only for a whole month. Okay, that you are talking about 1950s. So the $50 is more than a month's rent. In other words, in today's value is about $500 or more. Maybe even $800. Now, my question is very simple. What value is the $50 in the tin can in the hole under the old lady's bed? Can anybody answer?
$50.
Some of you say 50. Zero. So how many of you come? I want you all to share your answer. How many of you believe that the value of the $50 note in the tin can in the hole under the bed is worth 50? And how many of you feel that it is worth zero? Jinli says zero. Some of you say 50, some of you say zero. So it's 50 or zero?
My thought is like not until we dig out the value lah.
So give an answer lah. Shuwei says it's 50. Mabel says it's 50. QQ says zero. Hey, there are 12 of you. How come only 3 answer? Jameson says zero. All this old white mad people all keep saying zero. Y'all have learned the lesson. All those actually this is not a trick. It's not a trick. It's reality. That's why I need you all to think deeper. Okay, let me proceed. Don't waste time. There are 2 terms very important for us to understand. Potential value and real value. Potential value is worth 50. Real value is worth 0. Why I say potential value? That means potential value, like just now what Patrick said. If you go and dig it out and use it, it is worth 50. That's why it's called potential. But the problem basically is this. Only the old lady know about the $50 in the tin can in the hole under her bed. Nobody else know. So what happened is this. At the end of the day, the $50 remain in the tin can in the hole under the bed until it rotted. That's why as long as the $50 remain in the tin can in the hole under the bed, it is worth 0. Only if you can take it out and use it is it worth 50. Now, this is what servanthood is all about. Without servanthood, all the value you have in yourself, if you don't apply servanthood to your life, the value in your life is worth 0 because it's not used. Only when you take whatever potential of whatever value you have gained in your life and use it and benefit somebody, then it is worth the value that you have. Value, real value, only is measured when it benefited. Otherwise, that is only potential value, and potential value that is not used to benefit is 0 value. And this is what's happening to a lot of people. They work very hard, they gain their knowledge, they gain their experience, they gain their money, they gain their asset, and they hawk it. And they kept it for themselves, and then they die without using it. And when you die without using all the value that you hold, that value that you have, you potentially have, is worth nothing. Now you understand why it's very important value for a leader to be a servant. Basically, to be a servant simply means this: to use your value in you for benefiting others. That's all that is to it. The more you're able to benefit others and transfer it to others and make other people grow, the more you have converted your personal value into more fruits, more value, real value. Because otherwise, we're going to take it to our grave. And when we take it to our grave, our potential value equals 0. Now, having said that, the reality is that's why it goes to number 3. You must make sure you are clear about your belief. And you must make sure you are putting whatever effort you have to try to live out your belief. And you don't have to worry about leading other people. You just try your very best to live out your belief. And when you try your very best to live out your belief, the reality of making the impact will happen. And as you do so, you can only make the impact as you gradually connect with other people. That's why the relationship comes in. And that's what I do. I used to be very worried about relationship, but now I don't. Because relationship has to be authentic. In other words, I must not stop being me. I must be me. And in the relationship, I just try to be a better me. That's all. I don't try to deny me. I just try to be better me. And I just try in my me to connect with whoever. And people must learn to accept me, but I also must try to improve my me. Now, during this process, let me say this. I have been working with YMAT now 9 years. This is the 9th year. And I can assure you, I've been tired. There are many times, now for the past 9 years, at least there are 3-4 times already. I have thought about, Edmund, I'm tired. Why don't you just quit? Honestly. Now, why I didn't quit? How come I still got the energy to just keep going? Very simple. I go back to number 2. I have to go back to number 2. I have to remind myself and remember in myself, I am running a marathon. It is not how I start. It is how I finish. I want to keep running until I drop dead. For many of you who have joined YMAT long enough, you always hear me saying this one. I want to do until I drop dead. Not because I have the what I not because I feel the energy to do it. Honestly tell you, occasionally I'm very tired. I wish that I can just retire, so to speak, and don't have the responsibility. But what kept me going is number 2. And to establish number 2, to remember the marathon I'm running, I always remember at the end of the marathon who I'm going to meet. That is, I'm going to meet my creator. I'm going to meet my creator, and at least when at the end of the race, when I'm meeting my creator, I can say this. I say, my God, I have finished. I don't know whether I finished well or not. That's not the point. But I can say I have finished what you have given me to do. I dare not say I have finished it well. I don't. That vision, that perspective that I keep having it in my mind is what keeps me going. And what keeps me picking it up and just do. At the end, I'm doing it not because I feel like doing it. I'm doing it because I want to and I choose to do it. And I can tell you, in the world today, things getting worse. Things are getting more and more heavy. The burden is getting heavy. It's the envisioning. I have to envision what the end is like. That's why it goes back to number 1 again. The first one, which is my purpose. Now, this keeps me going. Really keeps me going. Okay. Of course, the other thing that kept me going is actually the time I spend learning the principles. First thing is the time I spend learning what God has created and learning to understand God. That's the number 1. Number 2 that keeps me going, remembering the life that have changed because of the effort that I put in. So in other words, seeing some of you having grown up and seeing the changes that's happening in your life has become a motivation to renew my energy to keep doing it. Okay? So basically it's looking up and looking to you. Okay.
Okay. So thanks for sharing, Edmund. So let's proceed with questions 4. Questions 4 is about what is the most effective daily habits for any leader to develop. First of all, what is habit first? A habit is a subtle or regular tendency or practice, especially one that is hard to give up. In other words, we may also say that habit is a practice or an activity that become part of your daily routine and are no longer things you need to consciously decide to do or even to think about. And you may also heard of habits is very important to all of us, especially for a leader. It's because your daily habits determine your future. It will leave a tremendous impact in your team, whether it is in a good impact or a bad one. If you are a leader is struggling to achieve your team goals or are hoping to move forward in certain area in your life, it may be time to adjust some of your habits. Is either you drop some habits that no longer serve you or acquire some new habits in order to realize your dreams. Of course, in this topic of habits is very, very wide. But one thing that John Maxwell that stretch on is to have a habit of a giving mindset. While I was searching for more detail and more information on this topic, I found one article which is written by this man, This man name is Braham Akradi, and this article is talking about a mindset of giving. This is a story of how a river is to teach us how about how the natural balance on the giving and receiving. This is how he described. He described the rivers have an innate ability of adaptability and persistence in navigating themselves through the varied landscape along the way to the sea. At first, Braham thought it would be a great sense for people to learn from the river in how to find a better sense of balance and satisfactions in our own life if we just let ourselves to go through with the flow more often. But later on, he also discovered that how the rivers ultimately give themselves over to a larger bodies of water. This is how, in the end, they poured everything they have gathered along the journey into a much bigger and more diverse ecosystems. This is where the rivers become the sea. So in these descriptions, it means a lot on how to receive and then give it back to this society. Well, there are many benefits that you can reap if you practice the habits of the giving mindset. The first benefit is giving and knowledge that others have helped us. This is something that relates to gratitude and always feel thankful to have someone in your journey. You also know that we are humans who are with only limited capability, that we really need someone's help in the area that we are lack of. These are the people who are at the back to support us, to guide us, and to teach us in order to succeed in life. We all got to acknowledge that no one will succeed in life on his own. So when it comes to gratitude, these are all the people will be on top of my list. There are many ways to give thanks to all these beautiful people. It can be just as simple as to say a thank you or a card, or you may just pay them back by helping them on something that you can contribute. With these simple actions, the connections between you and the people will be strengthened, will be deepened as well. And then the second benefits that you may reap is giving requires us to get beyond ourselves. This is where you are in the state of you are think of others more than you think of yourself. So based on what Rabia says, real growth happens when we reach beyond ourselves. And he also says that you don't reach beyond yourself by reading a book or by learning or even listening. Even after you read a million books, you will still be yourself. So from this statement, it is so true that we will only reach beyond ourselves when we are take advantage of moments and opportunities to do something for another person. By reaching beyond ourselves, it makes us less selfish, and it also helps us to have a better understanding on one's needs. And most importantly, it helps you to having the feeling, you having the feeling of compassion for someone, even they don't deserve it. So with acquire of this habit of giving, it will automatically mold you into someone with big heart, and you will make the world even more beautiful and to have a better impact in the society. And the next one is giving is by nature intentional. People are just rarely to give by accidents. Instead, we are all giving by intentional. Intentional giving is purposeful and personalized giving. It means it involves actively to making choices to bring an impact to this world. This is very important to all leaders. It's because it will help them to become more proactive. But why it is so important for a leader to have an attitude of proactive? And here is the why. Because they will be more prepared and alleviate problems. And they will also help in reducing the stress in the team as well. Because usually proactive leader, they are more prepared. So they will always meet deadlines and instead of just rushing off to complete the task. And they are also will be more self-aware as well, and their mind will always be at peace because they are always prepared, because they are knowing what is coming up next. They always have plan B, so whatever is come, they can cope it very easily. And the last one is giving changes the world one person at a time. In today's world, I guess we have more to expect from a leader. We need a leader who are not only to be able to excel within a business context, but we also um, but also who are also believe in the social impact as well. With the practice of giving, the leaders would have a chance to lead by example in showing the rest of team members on how to be generous. So once you have the mindset of giving, it will makes you to have a mentality of the more I receive, the more I want to give. So let's get all the leaders to be the lead and to influence others to create these positive cycles, not only in an organizations but also in the communities. And don't forget that the more the generous a leader is, the more committed and loyal of their followers. So never stop yourself from touching one life by showing giving, especially during those times when they needed the help. And there are three questions for you to ask yourself before you can effectively give more. The first question is, what have you been given? This is for you to look back on your life and to think about what you've been given. And the second one is, what do you have? Because all of us have a gift since we were born. We are all humans, we are all born uniquely with some gift in us that we can actually contribute back to this community. But then what's yours? What talents you have and what skills that you can teach, and even the passions that resides in you that you can pass along to others. Let's start it with others. Just share it with others and then get someone out there to learn from you. And the last questions that you may ask yourself is, what can you do? There's always something that you can do right now. You don't have to wait to brush up your skills. You don't have to wait for the right time. You can just share it out. You can just adding value to others. So let's think about, what is this something in you. So basically, these are all the three questions to help you to have to know about yourself more, to dive deep into who you are, so that you'll be able to give back to this community. So basically, this is all about questions for Edmund.
Okay, I want to suggest something now. Okay.
Yes.
This will be your okay. I won't call it assignment. Can I request everyone to answer this question? Send in your answer to me or to the group. No need to me. You just post your answer into the group. I will compile it, and then next week I will give the answer that everybody gives. Okay. I also will.
Questions?
Yes, these three questions. First question: what have you been given? I want you to answer. You'll be surprised. Now, why is this question important? Answering this question. You cannot give what you have not received. You cannot give what you do not have, in other words. How can I give what I don't have? More important is, if I don't recognize that I have something, I cannot give it, I cannot give if I don't recognize that I have something. And very often, a lot of us find it very difficult to really come out with things that we really give. You'll be surprised. I will be surprised. Many people will find it quite tough. What have you been given? Right? What do you have? What can you give? Actually, the last one I would rather say, what can you give? Now, anyway, try to answer it. Okay? See how many you can write down. See how many you can write down. The other thing I okay. Okay. The other thing, I want to add a couple more questions apart from these 3 questions. So these 3 questions is: what have you been given? What do you have? What can you give? Okay. Now I want to add a couple more questions. Question 4: who do you give? Who do you give to? Okay. And 5th question: what impact did it make? What impact did it have? Why I want to ask the question 4 and 5? We can give to people we love. We can give to people we want to give to. Right? And very often, it's easy for us to give to people we love, people we know. But did it make the most impact? That's my question. Very often, we don't consider significantly, sometimes significantly, giving to people who need it more, rather than we consider giving by giving to people we love. Now, once you become a parent, a brother, a friend, we should give. We give to our friend, we give to our parent, we give to people we love. Right? What about people who we don't? Really, we don't have a close connection or close relationship with. Okay? So I want you to think about 5 questions. What have you been given? What do you have? What can you give? Who do you give? What impact did your giving make? Okay? What impact did your giving make? Post it up into the group or send it to me personally. Doesn't matter. I will compile it. Next week, we will have a slide with all the answers to the 5 questions. So the answer will not be presented on the personal level. I won't say who say this, who say that. Okay? I will show all together so that for each one of you, you will be surprised to be able to see a lot of things you never thought of that other people think of, so that you will begin to realize that there are so many answers possibly to this question. Can? That's
Okay.
your practical.
So when's the deadline?
You just send. As long deadline is, give me a couple of hours. Deadline is, okay, let me say this. Deadline is 2 hours before next class. 6 p.m. next Wednesday.
Before 6 Wednesday. Okay.
Yeah, before 6 p.m. next Wednesday. So that after 6, I will compile the answers. Then at 8:30, when we have the class, I'll just post it up, all the complete answer. Okay?
Okay.
The combined answer. Okay.
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 So that's all for today. This is the end of my slide. Finally, I can get some rest.
Okay.
I'm so sleepy. I'm so sorry.
Okay. Any comment, any question about today's lesson, or any comment, any yeah.
Yeah, just say
Any,
anything. Just unmute yourself would be preferred. Thank you, Jin Lee.
okay, if there's none, then we'll call it the day, lor.
Okay, see you.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you all. See you next week. Remember to do the assignments. Okay, bye bye. Thank you, Edmund.
Okay.
See you. Bye.